In today's video, we are going to prove that cosine of theta over cotangent of theta plus sine of theta over tangent of theta is the same thing as saying sine of theta plus cosine of theta. So we're not going to worry about this side of the equation right now because we do not need it. We can use it at the end when we prove our identity and say sine of theta plus cosine of theta equals sine of theta plus cosine of theta. But we're going to go over to this side of the equation and we're going to worry about the two terms in front of us. As you can see, cosine of theta over cotangent of theta plus sine of theta over tangent of theta is not the same denominator. So we simply cannot just add the two terms together. But we can add them together if we find a common denominator. And as you see, we have tangent of theta and cotangent of theta. If we multiply cotangent of theta on the bottom and on the top of sine of theta over tangent of theta, we will get a common denominator that we are looking for that has both terms present, cotangent of theta times tangent of theta. We can do the same thing when we multiply tangent of theta on the top and the bottom of this term, cosine of theta over cotangent of theta. That will give us our denominator that we are looking for again, tangent of theta times cotangent of theta. And it looks something a little bit like this. And as you can see, we didn't change the equation, we simply just manipulated it by making this term and this term 1. So multiplying anything by 1 will give you itself, and we are not changing the equation once again. That is why this is called a manipulative. And so we have our common denominator that we're looking for on this side and this side. So now we don't even need this because we found our common denominator, and we can simply just add tangent of theta times cosine of theta by sine of theta times cosine of theta, which will give you something a little bit like this. Tangent of theta times cosine of theta plus sine of theta times cotangent of theta.
So after we find a common denominator, we are left with tangent of theta times cosine of theta plus sine of theta times cotangent of theta. So tangent of theta becomes sine of theta over cosine of theta, and cotangent becomes cosine of theta over sine of theta. So on this side, since we have cosine of theta in both the numerator and the denominator, we can just get rid of them, and we're left with sine of theta. And on this side, since we have sine of theta in the numerator and the denominator, we could just get rid of them too. So we're left with cosine of theta. So sine of theta plus cosine of theta is equal to sine of theta plus cosine of theta. And that is how we use manipulatives to be able to solve our equation.